most of you have asked me the specific details. This is retiring from the U.S. Navy, active and reserve, enlisted and officer, almost 40 years. Because I can't, Chris will do the math for me, it's like 39 and some months. So I actually joined the Navy in 1979. And somebody wanted to know if I changed very much, so there's a picture over here, you can see that. There was a couple of timelines, like who's known me, like the people who met me first, so we're going to point to this guy right here. Woo! Not you, dear. Tracy's trying to claim rights over Dad. I don't think so. So my dad's right here, Les. He has known me the longest. Yes. Really close would be his sister Carolyn and her husband Ron. And then my sister, who's only a year younger than me. I know she looks a lot. So I'm going to pass this around. Just
who are you?
Why are we here? We're a friend of a friend.
So I'm just going to kind of go around the room. So Melanie and I were on our first class cruise together. So that was when I was a senior in college. You were a senior at the same time, right? Yep, okay. So we were seniors in college. We happened to meet on a ship called the USS Gray, which was a... You were on Gray? Okay, we'll get to you later. So it was a midshipman cruise. We ended up getting cut short. We had to leave early, and she probably has a few funny stories, so you want to check with her. Tracy and Dave. So Dave was also in the Navy. Well, Melanie's retired Navy, so I'm going to jump back on that. But Dave was also in the Navy. And he and Tracy have been together for, 20-something years. Yep, that's pretty good. Pam and I have known each other for a couple of years. She lives in the neighborhood, and we carpool together. And then Ron and Carolyn. So on this little board here, I got a picture, and I have Ron's retirement brochure. So I went to his retirement from Holloman Air Force Base in Alamogordo, New Mexico. And I wore my whites. They'll tell you that I said something sassy, like, I was in my whites because I wanted to bring a little class to their ceremony. We have a lot of Air Force in this room, in the ceremony here. So. Speaking of Air Force, Chris. So Chris and I also went to college together and at USC. We were good buddies. We did a little skit. I can't remember exactly what song we sang, but when we switched uniforms.
Oh my God.
So there was some kind of a pseudo talent show way back before So You Think You Can Dance and all those shows. And so we switched uniforms and sang. It wasn't Sisters, because Tracy and I have done that one before, but something where the characters switched in the song. But we have a lot of stories. Her little name tag says, "Some skeletons should stay in the closet."
Yes.
We were also, she wrote me into getting into the USC band, which was awesome. I did that for a year, so she marched all 4 years. And next is Vicky, dear friend from Orange County. We've known each other for 1 years. Joyce, thank you for coming, dear. So Joyce and I were, so my first ship was USS Dixon. So Joyce and Rick happened to be, they happen to be sitting next to each other right now. I don't know how that worked out. Joyce was our dentist, and I think we got a couple deployments there. I can't remember when. Oh, that's right. That was a big trip, Catalina. Wow. So you have to understand that USS Dixon had to go somewhere. Yeah. Captain Lee roped us a trip to Catalina. We wrecked the town. Sailors being how sailors are, they partied a little too hardy away from home. So, gosh, I forgot about that one. Rick and I were running mates. We helped each other out a lot. He helped me a lot more than I helped him, I'm sure. But we got to work together, and we were both also. So we both started out in the Navy enlisted as nuke, machinist mates, he went through the LDO program, and then I got my commission a different way through ROTC. Then we were on our first ship together, and he retired from the Navy a few years ago. He lives in San Antonio. So he gets a frequent flyer mile ticket. Chris gets one for coming from Virginia. Ron and Carolyn get one for, they live in Georgia, but they're coming from Africa. They were just out on mission, so welcome back. They do a lot of love work out there. And then my cousins are back there. So these are second cousins from mom's side, Cindy, Donna, and her partner Carol.
Not a cousin.
Not a cousin. So, next I see John. So John and I know each other from EOD Group 1, so another place I was stationed. And anybody that doesn't know what the acronyms are, that's fine. Ask or, something. But John and I also ride together, so motorcycle buddies. Yeah. Frank and Barbara. Mom, Barbara's another mother. I love her dearly, my sweetheart, and known you guys for a long time. And their daughter Denise, one of my dear best friends. She's got some stories too.
That may not be ever told.
Steve Martin is in the house.
Whoa, where's Steve?
So
Whoa.
So it's not that guy.
No, sorry, different one. Okay.
Steve's a motorcycle buddy. He was one of my instructors, and so the story I like to tell about Steve is that we had trouble. When we were learning how to be motorcycle instructors, you have to do some things with your motorcycle, and I had a little motorcycle. I should be able to do anything with it, right? And Steve would get up and do a demo, and he had a Goldwing, which is a big motorcycle, and a trailer. And he would do all those things. He'd make the trailer go through the cones. So he's an excellent motorcyclist, great instructor, dear friend. Thanks for being here.
And you ended up with that bike.
That's right. And I did get the Goldwing.
Oh, good.
See, we did it, Dad and Andre already. They've known me a long time. Jackie is another motorcycle buddy that lives here in town. Jose gets a credit, I think, for being one of my newer friends. I've known him for about a year. We work together on a contract. He's stationed out in Yuma right now. And his wife, Jenny. And then I'm going to look over there at the bars. And my peeps over there at the bar. Jeff and Roberta, you're not hiding, right?
No.
So Jeff didn't want me to tell you that he and I went to college together. He was also in the Navy, a retired commander. And his beautiful wife, Roberta, that I get to meet today.
Great.
Thanks for being here, guys. Anybody else at the bar I'm missing? Okay, so I don't know who wants to talk first. Dad, you want a couple? I'm gonna give you like a timer. Oh, this guy's a mouthful. Denise,
Okay, I can do
you said you were.
I can do that, but we have to get your present.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And thank you everybody for being here. When somebody asked where my brother is, he's got another party and they got family stuff and couldn't make it today.
That's okay. Well, I asked Tera when she said she was retiring, and of course we know she's always somewhere. Where is Waldo is just where is Tera, because we never know. And so, and when she's so wonderful because my memories, and I'll tell people she's been in places she's never been, and then never get to the places she actually has been, but she just goes along with it. So when I asked her what was it that was the most memorable of the 40 years that she served our country and did the things, and of course, we've been involved in many other areas of life as well. She said it was the people. And somebody today said, and I don't remember who it was, said, Tera's a collector of people. And so I thought, what could I possibly get her that would be commemorative of this much experience and all the lives that she has touched and that have touched her life. So this is what I decided, that it would be the most memorable to be able to help you remember that you have touched so many lives in all the areas that you've been, and I know many of them have touched your life. So she wondered why I asked her for all the pictures. I asked her what her favorite picture of herself was, and she said it was at the beach. But each one of these mosaics is a picture of someone that she touched or she loves, and so she sent me over 500 pictures, and that's what this is made of.
You're
I love you. I kept saying, what is this picture project you're doing? And I said, just never mind.
You can have a little magnifying glass out there.
I know, right?
But you actually can see them, which is
can
really
see,
interesting. Yeah.
There's a little saying in here that says, "What is life without salsa?"
Yeah.
A few of you know that salsa is my favorite music. And
Yes.
it's playing in the background.
Reminds me of the old
Great.
the old microfiche.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You
right?
can see them.
So you get the sun behind it.
Yeah. That's right.
I don't think you have to put a timer on it. I'm going to be short and sweet. I'm going to be sweet anyway. Because I love you. Because I really appreciate all of the things that you've brought to my life, which have been really exceptional. You taught me how to sail, or maybe I taught you how to sail. But either way, it works.
Sailors in heart.
And all of those things. But I really, really, really appreciate the way that you approach life, and life loves you back in so many ways. I appreciate the places that we've gone together. I appreciate the places that you've kept me from going. I mean, there's just a little brilliance in all of that. But I appreciate most the fact that we responded in so many ways together. And thank you for all that you have contributed to the country, to the people that you've known, the places that I've found desirable for me, and the family relationships, and the way you approach life. So I appreciate you greatly. I congratulate you for sticking to it long enough to say, I'm retiring. I'm going to do that someday. I'm learning about this.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I love you deep. And thank you for having this wonderful experience for all of us today.
I'm gonna call a couple people. You could probably get away with saying no, but Melanie, come on, I know you got at least one funny story.
I'm only going to tell them the one thing I tell everybody about you.
So Melanie and I were on first class cruise together.
And I had no clue about anything, ever. I'd never been near a Navy ship in my life. And she'd been enlisted, she knew how to do things. And we were sitting there talking, and I would literally have to go find her and say, I have to report to X. And she'd show me where to go, and then she'd come back, and it's like, are you done? You want to go back? And she'd take me back. And we were sitting there one day in the room, and we were talking and about all kinds of things and what we have to do and the strange things we have to do as midshipmen. And I was complaining about something with a physical fitness test, and so she's trying to help me. And she just kind of lights up and starts doing pull-ups. And not only was I impressed, but I think that kind of sums up Tera. If you bring something to her, no matter what it is or when it is, she will try to help you solve it. She will help you in any way she can, anytime, any place, anyhow. Tera will be there for you. She is a wonderful, kind person. Yes, she is.
Chris. Oh, not one story? They're all that bad? I got a couple other Dixon people here. Rick? No? He's like, no way. I'm not talking. Anybody else want to say something? Uncle Ron? So I was looking for some pictures I wanted to bring with me, and I'll talk about the bell here. I wanted to bring some pictures with me because I have my commissioning document has a set of his eagles on it. He gave me I think at your retirement party, he gave me a set of his eagles, and I put them on my ensign thing. So you know an ensign's like the
I know.
second lieutenant.
Yeah. Even in the Air Force, we know these things.
And nobody can figure out your enlisted ratings though.
I brought a chart.
Well, it's not my fault. I married into the family, you know, so you can't hold that against me. Yeah. But what has always puzzled us is how all of your uncles, including me, could be in the Air Force, and you ended up somehow in this foreign service. I think they call that the Navy.
And my best friend. And my I don't know.
But it was so kind of her to come to our retirement ceremony out at Alamogordo, New Mexico, just a few years ago. And I remember we had just had such a wonderful time during that celebration. And I was just in awe that you would take the time and effort to be there. So we've always loved you.
Auntie? Auntie Carolyn? Tracy?
Come on, Tracy.
She is shy. Tracy. She's so shy. Tracy's so shy. She's like runs the whole town of Julian, I think.
And she's shy?
She's the mayor. Yeah. I used to call her the queen because they didn't have a mayor, but.
Come on, Tracy.
So Tracy's lived with me since she went in the Peace Corps in '93, and from '93 to '96 she helped plant plants and help people grow things in. Somebody says, "Oh, so you blow them up and she plant?" Yeah.
Yes, right.
So when she came back in '96, I told her, I go, well, you said you don't want to go back to Orange County, so if you want to come stay with us, that's great. So that was in 1996.
I'm looking for a place.
Anybody need a roommate? So somebody asked her how many animals we have. We have a little farm down the road here. And we usually start off, well, a couple of horses, we have a donkey, some sheep, six sheep, 20 goats. So she added up all the birds and the fowl, turkeys, geese, ducks, chickens, something else, pheasants, birds. So we have the dogs. We have 3 that go in the house and 2 in the farm, but they had puppies, so another 6. So it was 11 dogs. A lot of cats. So it's 212.
Sure you can afford your cat?
We do collect money for food, usually hay, grain, and oats. Anybody else like to come share? Tell a funny story? Grant's here! So Grant's another one of my newer friends. He is in the unit that I just retired out of. And so now I can tell the story about the bell. So usually it's... Jose's gonna tell a story. You can wait. No, you're good. Come on up. This is Jose.
So I don't know if it's a little bit awkward. Is any other Marines here?
You had to be one.
My brother.
There's always one, right? So as I listen to everybody, friends and family talk, this is really a big accomplishment. I can tell you from the military side, being a retired Marine, it's a great accomplishment. Not everybody can retire. You know, there's so many things that can happen. You can get injured. You can have family issues. You can have different things that happen. And it's really a big struggle just to stay in for such a long time. And so this is really a great accomplishment to retire. We became good friends through work because she has those ethos that are embedded in us. As we grow up in the military, it's another world. It's a whole family out there. It doesn't matter what era you serve. It doesn't matter what branch of service. My sister's in the Air Force, by the way.
I knew it.
She embodies those ethos that bring us together. We're like brother and sister, and we didn't serve together at the same boats or anything like that. And it's a really great accomplishment. Congratulations.
And represent the Marine Corps. Thank goodness.
You might have to explain ethos to all these Air Force people.
No, we're not dissing on Air Force. But, so it's interesting that because all the services are represented here except for the Coast Guard, right? So we got Navy.
I did a 1 month rotation at United States Coast Guard Training Center, Alameda.
So she did that as a naval officer, so.
I did that as an ensign.
Oh my God.
It was a clerkship.
Nice. So, thank you. I don't think it's gonna stay up there. So, Navy, Air Force, Marines,
Kansas National Guard.
Kansas National Guard. So we'll call that Army. Okay, so Grant, you owe me a plaque. Still on its way. So from my last unit, so I started out in the submarine force, working in the nuclear power field, stationed on the S8G, which is a training platform for the Ohio class submarine. And I spent about 2 years there as an instructor, and that was the only place where women back then could basically do their job if you were in the nuclear power field. So I started looking around, what can I do, and my chief said, well, why don't you go to college? And I was like, what? So I applied for ROTC scholarship, I got my scholarship, and I was able to go to USC and get my engineering degree. And then we fast forward through all the other places that I went and all the other things that I did, and my last unit is the Undersea Warfare Development Center, which provides training to people who manage the work that submarines do. So when they go out, they take care of business, and the staff that takes care of them, that's where we did the training. So my last command was also with the submarine community. So we'll bring the cake out. I didn't want it to melt, but the cake has a little beach scene. We got a submarine, we got a helicopter, because on the Dixon, I was a landing signals officer, which meant I showed the helicopter where to land. I know this one means go, this one means stop. Did a lot of signals, land here. And the bell was the gift that UWDC got together and gave me as my parting and retirement. So Grant, thanks for coming. I appreciate that. He's usually up in front of people, so if he doesn't want to say anything, I'm okay with that. Anybody else? Thank you again. Oh, please. Come on up. Come on, Donna.
Safe round.
That's all right. Come on up here because she's taping it. The microphone's really loud.
So I'd like to step back. Anyway, so we're cousins, and there's 3 of them and 3 of us, and we're almost all the same age. And when we were younger, when we were kids, we actually spent time together. You know, we'd go camping together, we'd stay at their house, they lived on a little ranch, which was like fantastic when you grew up in Orange County and everybody's on top of each other. So
Our parents were best friend cousins.
yes, exactly. They were our parents were first cousins. What I can tell you is I can't remember what happened. I can tell you 2 things that have always stood out in my mind. I remember one time we went camping. Well, we'd go camping. She was the leader. She was always the leader. I was like, Tera had a plan, and we're all following Tera. Wherever she tells us to go. So I remember that. And another thing I can remember, we stayed at their house one time for a few days, maybe a week, I don't know. Parents probably went out of town. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't remember what happened, but I remember that I did something that upset her, and I was scared to death of her the rest of the time. That's all I remember is like, and honestly, I think that stuck with me my whole life. Like, oh my God, we gotta act right, Tera's gonna be around, or we're gonna get in trouble. So anyway, that's what I remember. Like I said, it's too long ago, I don't remember the incident, I just remember the fear.
something funny.
Say something
just
funny.
did.
Captain Gray.
Tell us a Dixon story, Captain Beers.
Captain Beers or Captain Lee. So Captain Lee in the moose hat. That was funny.
Is that all we're going to say about that?
USS Dixon, shipmates, and still speaking to each other after all these years.
Speak? Yeah, okay. So it is, this is my most favorite cousin, and I'm going to go to my sister's going to be mad. Say something, Donna, say something.
You can tell us why you're scared now.
I know why I'm really scared. I just can't remember. I just remember she was like, we were little. It was a long time ago. Yeah, we were very young. I will be back. And I remember something about artichoke hearts. I remember somebody was making artichoke hearts. For some reason, it seemed like Regina was there that time. Might have been out there and something. And all I can remember is it was like, what did you do? You know, it was that kind of a thing. I can remember that. I wish I could remember what it was. I can't remember. We'll try to yeah, right. But I can just remember she was just
I'm curious now because
I know, yeah, I know, that's the thing. Like, but I remember that. I can remember being afraid, and like I think she was always serious. She was very serious. She was always serious. Like, all right, guys, this is what we're gonna do. Yep.
Definitely in charge.
Yep.
Still are.
Right?
Yeah. That little picture where the little girl's going, I got leadership skills.
Yes.
Did you hear we're nice? We are nice. We are nice. Nice people. Is it recording? Got a tag on still.
A mini pearl.
24 cents.
I know Tera, first off, she came over to EOD Group 1 when I just left that staff. So we got to know each other working there and then stayed in touch over the years in the Navy. But now we're friends and ride motorcycles sometimes together. Actually, it's a kind of a recent story that I invited Tera to come out and ride with us. And I have another real good friend who lives here in Ramona, and her name is Penny. And next thing I know, Penny and Tera have hit it off. And instead of hanging out with me, Tera hangs out with Penny. And even on the way back from the ride, they turn off and go do stuff together as like they've been girlfriends forever. And they've known each other about 3 hours. So, you know, no embarrassing ones, good ones. Some other Navy folks probably know those.
Yeah, I made a phone call. I was going through the database, and I was trying to recruit lieutenants who were just I guess, coming out of the active duty Navy and into the reserves. And so made that cold call, and she came over to the office and had an interview with the commanding officer, and that's how we met. Not really funny, but I think it was a big surprise. I heard that she was in Korea, and my ship had pulled in, and I ran into her at I guess, Commander Naval Forces Korea, and later on that evening, she went out with us to a couple of bars and didn't realize that she's a great salsa dancer. And so she really tore up the dance floor, and all, the rest of my crew, they were surprised too, and she taught us lessons that evening.
So Tera and I met through the Vanpool or Carpool website, Sandak I think it was. I've been looking for a carpool buddy for maybe a couple of years, been on the site for a couple of years, never found anybody, and finally found, you know, Tera, and I saw that she was only a couple of blocks away from where I lived, so I gave her a call and I asked her, you know, to see if she's still interested in carpooling, and come to find out that we're both have been on the site for quite a while, and for some reason didn't get connected until way down the road. So started carpooling with Tera because I work in Mira Mesa, and she was just a couple of blocks away from me. You know, ended up being, you know, we're neighbor obviously, so we ended up, you know, hanging out once in a while. So that's how we met. Oh, the funniest story. I don't know if there's one funniest story. But I can't think of anything right now. But I know we just always have fun when we we carpool. We talk quite a bit about different things, and we have some laughs here and there. But I can't remember one specific funny story. But Tera's been a good friend and a good carpool buddy. We have fun together.
We met in Long Beach, California on first class midshipman cruise. I think it's not so funny, but it kind of is the way we met and sort of the way I think about her. She was in engineering and I was just somewhere, I think I was in weapons. And we were sharing a room and we were talking about the things we have to do as midshipmen. And I was complaining about something with pull-ups or whatever, and she just sort of lights up on and starts doing a pull-up and showing me how to do it. And I think that's part of Tera, is always helping, always showing, always training, always teaching, always being there. And throughout the years, I mean, we've lived in different places, we've lost touch, we've come back together, because she is just a kind and nice person who is just a good friend all the time, and I think that's one of the great things about having met her and the Navy family, but extended families, is that she's just a kind person.
Well, first of all, my name is Denise Kennedy, and I met Tera 20-some years ago through a friend of a friend, and we became very close and dear, dear friends for many, many years. We went into business together. We have done some things that will never go on record. So we both know what those things are. And there will not be any conversation about those things, right, Tera? But she has been one of the dearest people. I always, it's like Waldo. Where in the world is Waldo? Well, we always wonder, where in the world is Tera? We have followed her from when she would go on deployment for Hawaii, or she would go to, I'm not even going to say the places because I know she went to Korea and a variety, Thailand, and I can't remember where in the Middle East, but always going somewhere. Tera, I'm so proud of you. Proud to call you my friend. I live vicariously through Tera because I would love to ride motorcycles. I would love to salsa dance and serve my country. So she's done it all, and we love you very, very much. Tera, we're so proud to call you our friend and look forward to seeing what it is God has in store for the future. We love you.
We met Tera through our daughter, Denise. They became friends, and Tera was coming to everything we had at our house. She really became a daughter to us. We love her so much. But I have to tell you that when I was 80 years old, I decided I wanted to skydive for my 80th birthday, and Tera was there. And I had a little too much heat for the day, and I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to go up because I was getting very fainty. And Tera took me, she drugged me over, she put me in an air-conditioned room, she took care of me and got me all set up again so that I could skydive. So she's my hero because she knew exactly what to do, and she took care of me in first-class style.
And she was determined to jump out of the plane.
Yes.
And of course I had to be her savior if something happened, so I jumped out too.
Yeah, right.
We both jumped out.
And Tera was there, and she was just awesome. She's always been awesome. She's one of our daughters, and we just love her so much. And we know one thing, our daughter Denise, who's right here, is one of her best friends, and that makes her one of ours too. So
well, the one thing I want to say is there are very few people that I would absolutely entrust my mother to. Tera is the only person.
Yes.
She saved us that day.
Yes.
I looked at her, she looked at me, and she goes, I got her.
I got her.
That's all I needed to know. So, love you, Tera.
Love you.
And it's all been fun.
Thank you.
I don't know if I have a funny story, but how I met Tera was I was at work and a Saturday morning, and probably the only Saturday that I ever worked back in 1960, and I got a telephone call that Tera was going to show up in the next half hour, and I was about an hour and a half away from the hospital. So we went to the hospital, and she waited about 8 more hours to show up. So I had a long wait for her. And secondly, the next day, I was on my way to the hospital to see her and her mother, and a lady went 45 miles an hour and ran into the side of my car at a stop sign. So I've had a couple of exciting moments before she even took her 31st breath early on. But we've had lots of good fun together. In fact, last week we shared a condominium while we went to party and she went to work. How about you? How do you meet her?
Well, because I married you, she became my daughter. And we have a lot of good times.
Well, they're all funny, but when she was really young, she didn't crawl like babies when babies first learned to crawl. Instead of crawling, she would lay on her belly and then pull her knees up under her and kind of scoot her belly along the floor. And she got a nickname of Turtle for doing that. So she became Turtle Turner instead of Tera Turner for a while.
I can't think of any funny story. We had a lot of fun sailing, and she would always, tell us how to do it. She's a really good director in the family. So we've had a lot of parties, a lot of fun.
I was always jealous because her boats were always bigger than mine.
They belong to the government, though.
Oh, that's true. They're a big gray thing.
We love her.
Not only do we love her, we're delighted that she's semi-retiring. She's not really retiring. She's just retiring from one thing to another.
Happy voyage.